we have got to talk about the mainstream media anchor, Katie Couric. Well, no one's media anchor right now, just has her own show, which not really doing that
Which
well.
she clearly
in any event,
produces from a closet in like her studio apartment.
And with absolutely no effort at hair or makeup.
Right.
I object. There has to be some effort for us all. Trust me. I don't look like this when I wake up either, but I make an effort because I'm on camera.
Yes, I have the best that Head and Shoulders 2-for-1 Costco special shampoo can provide.
Oh, you guys have it so easy. I look over at Doug in the morning. He's at his sink. I'm at mine. I'm like, you wake up looking like that. It's just not fair.
Can I give you my favorite conspiracy theory really fast?
Yeah.
That all of the lib podcasters who've been, banished from their corporate media platforms that kept them so beautiful and powerful, almost like a Frankenstein's monster, well beyond their expiration date, that they're all morphing into the same person. So like Rachel Maddow and Keith Olbermann and Katie Couric, and they're all like looking the same.
And George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, they're all becoming the same like androgynous, weird, neutered, frail, crunched up, like angry little vestibule of hate, and they're all doing. It's very bad. It's very bad what this stuff does. What this ideology does for you as a person, Ronald Dahl.
I really hope that everyone on our side is becoming Melania Trump.
That's exactly right.
That's what we deserve.
Yes.
To look more and more like her.
Who wants to look like RFK when they're 71? When they're 71, I mean, that is like real. That's what every man actually wants to look like.
Yeah.
And
he's very fit.
Yeah, I mean, clearly quite attractive to a number of young reporters. But
blue eyes.
Ronald Dahl has this great quote. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, but he has this great quote about how no matter how beautiful you are, your ugly thoughts will begin to appear on the outside very quickly if you have ugly thoughts on the inside. And beautiful people remain beautiful well into their old age. We all have a grandmother, right, that we can close our eyes, or like a godmother we can think about, and how beautiful they were even in their 80s, right? Because they were beautiful on the inside. And that twisted, warped, and cruel people filled with hate, that those people become twisted, warped, and cruel. No matter how fleeting their beauty might be, they'll always become that on the outside. It'll manifest. And I think you can really
it's like those two ants and James and the Giant Peach.
Yes.
I don't know. You spend enough time with Roald Dahl and you'll see what he does to the characters you really can't stand. They all want, look at Augustus Gloop. Veruca Salt was pretty, but not by the end of the movie. Yeah. You weren't feeling that when you watched her go down the egg educator.
That's right.
In any event, point taken. Yeah. I agree with you.
So it's that's what they're all becoming. And I find that fascinating to watch at scale. That now that instead of going off into the sunset. Here we have it. Yeah. Instead of going off into the sunset.
Watch it.
Yeah.
This is Katie Couric. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just saying we all need to work on it, including you, Katie. I'm saying it from love. Along with Jen Psaki, who understands, because she actually still has her TV job, the hair and makeup can make a difference, but has decided to bring her least attractive self onto Katie's podcast. Maybe it's because they know literally nobody's watching, but I don't know. Here, look at this absurd exchange about the problem with today's media.
More and more of the questions in there are by sycophants, are by people who are not asking about news that the American people cares about, but they're asking about, literally a question has started more than once. Why is Trump in such good shape, right? Or they are, putting out conspiracy theories. They're people who, and they're getting a lot of the questions. There are some of the people who are in the press pools. This means that reporters who are there to cover MBS being at the White House, or to cover Zelensky being at the White House, or to ask these questions that Mary Bruce fortunately asked yesterday, there are fewer of them. And that is, you don't know that and see that unless you've lived there, but that's a huge, huge problem because it's becoming more of a Kremlin-esque press corps.
Right. And they've invited a lot of reporters from very right-wing media outlets.
Yeah. Okay. Unlike the good old days prior to Trump, when the media was so hard on people like Obama and Biden. I'll give you the soundbite, Benny, then you take it out on the backside, SOT 24B.
Mr. President, what did you order?
Chocolate chip.
You don't have any doubts that you're ready?
No.
Where do you get all this confidence?
How are you finding the job?
It's exhilarating. It's challenging.
What's the most frustrating part of the job? Do you take a day off?
I gotta tell you, when you walked in, I checked out. Is she wearing them? You're not wearing your Chucks today.
No. Trump has questioned Joe Biden's mental fitness and his cognitive skills. What do you want us to know about that?
I mean, Joe is working so hard every day.
And if you become first gentleman, what would that say about, defining the gender role and about masculinity?
When you watch the news, when you read the news, what do you think we get wrong? Or journalists who watch what you do, what's your advice for them about trying to stay close to the truth in this world of lies? Is the relationship between the White House and the press corps now at least functional in ways it wasn't in the Trump years?
We hear he's lifting weights. What sort of weights is he lifting? Does he have a personal trainer?
But I can tell you, having traveled with him a fair amount, sometimes he's hard to keep up with.
Oh my God, Benny.
So 2 major takeaways from that, Megyn. One, that's not good TV. So let's just start at the basic level. You have to have people watching. So this kind of like toe-sucking sycophancy is not fun to watch. It's not entertaining to watch. Like on your show here, right? Like what would be the equivalent of that? Megyn, you're so beautiful. Oh, how is it so hard being so smart?
Tell us how smart you are.
How smart are you? Okay, like it was so smart.
You could do the Tish James interview.
Wow.
How fearless are you? Are you just as courageous and fearless as I thought?
You go, girl. Yeah, wow. Like that's no fun, by the way.
Snaps.
That's exactly right. Like that. First off, it's just terrible for the entertainment value, for the news value. None of that works as an actual product. So start with that. But then graduate into what is, without question, the single greatest fraud, the most dangerous fraud pulled on the American people, which Jen Psaki was the architect of, to her great and abiding shame, which was that Joe Biden did not suddenly develop stage 5 pancreatic cancer metastasized to his bone, which all experts say is a death sentence. And that is a horrible thing. That's an awful prostate cancer. Yes. Yes, prostate cancer metastasized to his bones, which takes, according to medical experts, 12 years or more. They knew that Joe Biden had this terminal illness. They knew that he was suffering from it. He was most likely being prescribed an enormous amount of medication to deal with it. And that's what made Joe Biden so zoinked out of his brain, falling directly on his ass in front of military graduations, right? Like this was one of the largest scale lies ever perpetrated on the American people. And that's a long list to be at the top of. And so Jen Psaki was the major proponent and purveyor of that sinister lie that put this diseased and crippled old man into the hardest job in American history at the time when he was getting people killed with these Afghanistan withdrawals, when he was crippling our nation with open borders and so on, being taken advantage of because he was a dying man. It is indefensible. It is immoral. It is sick and wrong. And for Jen Psaki, of all people, to have a bloody cheek and to go on there and harp about reporters not asking tough questions or the press secretary not getting tough questions when she herself was on a level of Kremlin Soviet propaganda, encouraging not only Joe Biden to run again, when who knows how long he has to live. We know he's in end-stage cancer treatment right now. So what was the goal there, Jen? Was the goal there for Joe Biden to die in office and then Kamala to take the reins? How sick and dark and twisted are you people? Get ye to a nunnery, to a church. Like get down on your knees and pray for forgiveness for what you've done to the American people. That's clearly the worst and darkest thing that I probably, hopefully, will ever see in American politics.
No, it's not.
That you took it.
It's not. I have something.
You took advantage of this
top of
poor
the
old man.
hour. But no, so Jen Psaki is living in La La Land, of course, if she thinks that Trump is the one getting sycophant questions as opposed to her old boss. When the White House press corps had press briefings under her and her successor, Karine Jean-Pierre, the only hard questions that were asked, for the most part, were questions like, the Republicans are arguing X. can you respond? Right? Like that's as adversarial as they get because they wanted to tee up, right, Jen Psaki or Karine Jean-Pierre into ripping on the right half of the country. Now, at best, under Trump, which has a few more open doors to people who are open-minded to Trump, now you might get a more fair and balanced question from a right-wing perspective, right? Like, what is it that those 6 lawmakers did wrong in the video, as opposed to, how dare you threaten death for innocent U.S. lawmakers, right? So that's why he has more fair and balanced reporters in there now, because he's like, maybe I could get some fair questions from 1 or 2 in between getting abused by everybody else that's in there. That's what Caroline Leavitt goes through every day. She wants to pretend that in the good old days when she was there, it was universally tough questions for Biden, and she was just super deft at handling them. There are a lot of politicians that should be getting coal in their stockings for Christmas, but Birch Gold thinks, as a smart planner, you deserve silver. That's why with every $5,000 you purchase between now and December 22nd, Birch Gold will send you an ounce of silver, which is up over 60% this year. See, smart people diversify and have a hedge. That's why you should consider Birch Gold. With the rates cut now from the Fed, in 2026, the dollar will likely be worth less. And what happens if the AI bubble bursts? Let Birch Gold Group help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And for every $5,000 you buy, you will get an ounce of silver for your stocking or for your kids. Just text MK to 989898 to claim your eligibility for this offer. Again, text MK to the number 989898 today, because Birch Gold's free silver with qualifying purchase promotion ends on December 22nd. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.